I think you can,
Catastrophe!
you can restore
We're
one
live,
file, but
bitches.
it's a little bit more
Yeah.
annoying. You can restore
We're
one
live,
file, but
bitches.
it's a little.
I just wanted to say that we just went live to our audience and it's gonna be an amazing day. And how surprised are everyone just to see my beautiful face?
Yeah, it's technical difficulties.
Yeah, helping my friend here, helping my friend. So everyone was just like, "Oh, it's gonna be amazing stream with Ash," and then you see my face and see like the viewership already drops,
It's a
So
kidnap. It's a
There's my
kidnap.
people.
I'm just kidnapping the whole thing, just
Yeah.
just hijacking the the stream. How's everyone doing, guys? How's the world? How's the world of Learn Squirt viewership?
I
How's
think we're
everyone?
doing good. Some people
I'm,
going here. Let's see.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's
Yeah.
the case.
So
Hoping
you
that's
got
the case.
me and Ash, and we have Mache came on to save the day, and Leo is on here as well. Just a quick breakdown. I don't know where all my files are for my Lost Boy stuff, so I'm trying to figure out how to find them. There's like 500 drawings that they're gone. And I don't know where they are, so I
You'll
have to find them.
You'll find.
I'll
Yeah.
do my best. So yeah, so that's pretty much what we're dealing with right now. So Lost Boy is lost, exactly. Too soon, Felina, too soon. So yeah.
Too painful still.
Just wait for the troll wave.
Yeah. I'll probably if anything, I'll probably just let Mache run the stream, and I gotta get off and go and try to figure it out how to fix this. So yeah.
Aww,
So that's
you can talk though. You can talk. No, I mean if you have to, you have to. Obviously, I'll
yeah,
make
I need
sure
to
can
figure
run the
out this
stream.
thing, and I don't think it'll be
Yeah,
good for
that's
me to
right.
be here. So but yeah. Thanks for saving the day, Mache, and I think I'll just see you guys later so I can figure out how to do this, figure it out. If I do, I'll let you guys know. So
All right.
all right.
No worries.
Peace out, y'all.
No worries.
Thanks.
Let's
See you guys.
Let's do this. Dude, Leo, so here's the thing. This is the first time we're actually talking. So,
Yeah, sure.
did Ash and you have any agenda for today? Did you guys like wanted to talk or discuss your work or just generally hang out and just talk? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
we can do
I
whatever
think-
we can do whatever we want, obviously. Like this is one of those streams where just unexpected happens. It was funny because like funny and sort of kind of it's a bummer. I feel bad for Ash, honestly.
Yeah,
Although
I
I've been fucking trolling him the moment like 15 minutes before the stream. He's calling me like, fuck, I lost my files, and I'm like, yeah, bitch, fucking learn how to do computers. But I'm obviously feeling bad for him. I had the similar situation happening with my work for Ghost in the Shell, and I've managed to
Ooh.
recover a lot of it, but I haven't recovered some of it. Like there's a lot of like source files that I couldn't recover, like some of the scene files that I couldn't recover. All of JPEGs.
So you have
and-
only like some render or final image, and then you lose
Yeah.
some part of it.
The worst thing about it was that I was convinced that I have probably the most secure system, and I've quickly realized that's just never been a case. Because I was like, hey, like, what is the most secure way of grabbing files and making sure that if something happens, like you're still sort of safe. And like everyone's like, yeah, go with RAID, like RAID 5 or RAID 10.
RAID
That's
5, yeah.
the best way to do it. Bullshit. That's not true.
Yeah.
The best way to do it is just do it manually.
That's what I'm gonna say. That we have. I mean, before I used Time Machine and another system, but at the end I realized that there is some project that you really have to back up manually.
Yeah.
There is no other way. I feel more safe. Really, like
Yeah.
it's old school, whatever you want to say, but I know what I put on that file, dude. It's not gonna be loose.
Exactly. And honestly, like it's just like it's exactly what you're saying. Like the moment you start to trust into some technology stuff, like that's where all the problems happen, and that's
There
just
you
bad.
go.
That's just bad. I trusted that the RAID systems would be the best way to go, and I was so wrong because the system that I had set up is like I think you have 5 disks and three of them are basically for backup and two are upper like there's just like it's a weird ratio, but
Mm-hmm.
the system will not function anymore if 2 or 3 disks fail at the same time. And
So the
guess
relay, and then if one is not going, the relay runs, so you have a backup is
and guess what happened?
one fails. Yeah.
No, 3 of them failed for me. So
Wow.
at the same time, because I was just like minding my business and then turning on my PC and then wait, why it's not booting? Like, oh, like I cannot it couldn't see the RAID array. Oh, like all of the 3 disks failed and only 2 left, and apparently you cannot rebuild from that unless you have like 10 disks or whatever, fucking RAID 10 or some
Raid of
kind of
raid.
yeah, RAID of
Raid
raids.
of raid. Exactly. But he said that he found the file. No.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
So did he just?
I saw something around, like a message in one of the
Hmm.
windows said, like, I found the thing.
Oh, maybe he should. Maybe he should join us then.
Yeah, that's what I said. Let's see.
Getting dad knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe Ash's gonna be back. Thanks for sub, by the way. Who was that? Tyler. Tyler, thanks for sub. Yeah, dude. But yeah, computers. Computers suck, but we have to use
Yeah.
them. But they suck. So it is what
Well,
it is.
it is
what it
exactly.
is.
It is what it is.
There's
I
not
mean, that
much-
happened. I remember even manually, you're not safe. I remember back off, like, almost like my whole first 3 years of work in few hard drive, and then one day it was kind of the same. I connect and I hear the clicking, like click, 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 and oh, really? I mean, even manually, it's just physical thing. They're gonna be damaged. It's normal, yeah. There's no way to avoid that. So.
Wow.
It's just gonna happen, man, and you just have to be
Exactly.
prepared. So, if any advice I can give you is, like, if you have any friends that are like really good at IT, like, ask for their opinion because they are probably gonna have more informed opinion about what to do and how to deal with it. But honestly, the best way to deal with it is just to have like a manual sort of backup. Because it's just you just cannot go wrong with it. I guess I don't know. That's what I feel at least. So I was wondering why this is not working, but I got it.
Oh, come on.
No, I was just
No,
like there was
cool.
some
I lost
layer.
my tool.
Shit! No, stop it. Don't say that word. It's just like fuck. I don't want that to happen. But yeah, so like after that fiasco with my computer, with the RAID array, I basically figured, you know what? I just gonna buy like extra hard drives, and just have Windows automatically just mirror everything every day.
Yeah, the complete machine.
Yeah, complete match of specific folders, and I do it for like I do it for one drive, and then eventually I also like start backing up the backup additionally, because that's the only really safe way to make sure everything's there, and I mean probably the other way that is the most safe in terms of reliability would be to use some kind of a Dropbox service or something like that.
Yeah, like
but
cloud
then
or something.
but then your files are online, which then could
It's
become
kind
an
of
issue.
scary.
Yeah, it's kind of scary that someone can hack it and gain access to that. So there's a lot of like things to consider. I mean, not really a breaking news, but you've heard that Disney was hacked, right? Like they actually got hands on the new Pirates movie, and they're holding Disney ransom. Like they want some money, otherwise they're just gonna release it over internet. It's just so fucked up. I feel bad, dude. I feel bad for people that worked on it because it's just like, all right, it's criminal. Let's put it this way. I don't approve any of that, right? But I can still sort of understand some aspects of
All the
why
knowledge for me.
understand the aspects of why this is happening, but then it's just like so unfair to the people that work on it. It's just like, oh man, it's just just sucks. Just sucks. I think my camera froze. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can fix that.
Yeah, there is something that you cannot control. I mean, come on, we live in a online time, so this kind of thing gonna happen.
Yeah.
We have to learn to live with that now. You got
Yeah.
hacked your camera. Oh.
Yeah, fucking my camera got hacked. The hell? What the hell?
Yeah, man. What is going
I'll
on
fix
today?
that. I'll fix
I
that.
don't
Don't
get
worry.
it.
Don't worry. What have you been up to, dude? Like, what's going on your end? Anything fun?
Yeah, getting some things around, something that I cannot release yet. But yeah, it's going a great year. I mean, at the beginning of this year or last year, I take Ash course, which was really good. And then I've been following. I mean, you all guys like you, Vitali and Ash and so on, and getting really all the information and be really amazing for me. Even I talked to Ash afterwards, and then following some of the things that you say and trying to push and learning and so on. Then I get on my job, I get an art direction position, a nice project. I'm pushing here and there. So yeah, I mean, it's been a great year, really.
Damn.
For me, it was
Good
a
to
big
hear.
change after I changed. I mean, I started following you and listening and being more aware of the thing that I was doing wrong, and it was really a big change on my life.
Yeah, that's great to hear, man. It's great to
Yeah,
hear.
it's really amazing.
Happy to hear that. I mean, anytime any of us, whether it's me or Ash, can influence any of you guys' work or outcome, that's all we are after. That's just like makes things for us more worthwhile doing. Let's put it this way. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Oh, he's back. The papa's back.
Papa's back.
Papa's back.
Yeah.
How's your files?
Oh,
Did
my
you get
goodness.
them back?
They are
Yeah.
safe now.
But there was it was from a backup that I had done. Like, I don't know. I usually set these backups, but I need to figure out what's going on. But it's a really old backup, but it has like most of everything. It's just missing like the most recent drawings that I did. So out of everything, I'm probably just missing like maybe 5 drawings or something.
Oh, okay.
So, which isn't bad.
I
And
think
it's
that
better
on
than
your-
losing like the 709 files that are.
Oh man, that
there.
would suck.
Oh,
I'm
God.
actually
was freaking
considering to get that like there's this external hard drive that has like swappable. You can swap between the hard drives, but it's
Yeah.
also like you can connect it to the network. So in case you need to access those files, you can access them directly through like the network, which is sort of like semi Dropbox, but I feel it's more secure because it's not on someone else's servers. It's like on your own server.
You know how it is. It's really scary for us because we have all that like confidential NDA
Yeah.
client stuff that we
Yeah.
can't really like be sharing on anything other than our local systems. So that's we get in trouble.
Yeah, someone's been asking what kind of software I'm using. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is Clip Studio Paint EX, which is the advanced version of the software, formerly known as Manga Studio, and I'm trying to get someone from that from the developers of that software on the stream. So let's see if it works out. Hopefully it does, and we can have a conversation about how awesome this software is, because I use it for Showtime painting. So obviously awesome.
I still use Photoshop for bro time paintings.
You
Lost in the Showtime.
you just don't understand, man. You just don't understand the power of
Yeah,
this
it looks
thing.
pretty cool. I mean, there was that one issue where it was super laggy on my computer, but I think it might have been the OBS or something. Because like sometimes OBS does that to my machine, like it makes it super laggy.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, this file is what? Let me see. Right now, if I change the canvas size, it's 20,000 by 15 or 15,000 pixels.
Was
I
that
wanna.
female Kaneda that you're drawing?
Yes, exactly. You fucker.
Kaneda Arena.
Ganedina.
Showing the
Yeah,
Akira
man, I
time.
love those drawings.
Kanerina.
Come on, dude. Give some space to the guy. I love those drawings.
Show in the Akira time.
Just because you don't know how to draw girls.
Yeah.
I
What?
always complain. I don't draw girls. I only
Oh
draw
yeah,
boys or
yeah.
girls.
Yeah, it's Lost Boy because you cannot draw girls. That's what's up.
Well, you're drawing all the girls for me, so there you go. It's enough for the universe.
You're drawing all the boys for me then.
Yeah, because you love boys. Get the boy toys.
Yeah, I
Oh, come
love. Dude,
They're getting weird.
It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious, dude. Come on. We all know it. We all know. Babe, you know it's true.
Yikes. Yikes.
Anyways.
All right.
What is your plan? You gonna release a book with this magic, or what is the plan? Because I know that you were drawing like a lot, I think last year, and then you stopped for a while, and now it feels like you're coming back. So
Yeah,
what's
it's
the
just life,
plan?
man. It's just like there's so much going on. Me and Ash are actually having a lot of those conversations quite often. Is we have pretty busy lives overall, and obviously, like everyone has a different attention span. I believe everyone is very different, and some people can handle more and some can't. But handling so many things all at once can just wear you down, and eventually just like, okay, should I live my life by doing everything all at once and just get drained and unproductive after a couple of months, or should I scale down and take things like one by one and focus on the things that are important and really important at the very moment, right? So I'm trying to battle like, okay, this month I'm focusing on this thing, next month I'm focusing on something else, and for me, Showtime is like my baby that I want to focus on, and I want to do it, but I'm not rushing it for anyone or for anything. This is like this is the project that I can work on forever because it's fun. The moment I lose having fun with it, that's the moment I don't want to do it anymore, and I don't want to be in that place ever, because it's just like, Ash, imagine you're working on Lost Boy and then like you feel obligated and rushed to do shit, and it's just not becoming fun anymore. Like, you would be
Yeah.
pissed off.
Well, I did that already. I already went through that process when we were making the film and stuff. I got burnt out too. So, it definitely, it's easy to get burnt out on these things, things that you love, and they just take a lot of time. It's why I really respect and have a high honor for these like other creatives, people like Otomo or something, how they manage to do all that stuff and manage to make that work for them. Yeah. But the key difference with that is that we do have like full-time, really intense jobs as well, doing like very high-level work constantly is coming in, and we have families and other things that we love. We don't just love one thing. So it's one thing I've just kind of come to realize that it's just some things just take longer than others, I guess. So.
And as you said, we don't level on just one thing. There's other things that excite us in life that we want to pursue and create, including Learn Squared, and even being here on the Twitch streams, because it's just fun. It's one of those things where it's just for me personally, it's really fun to just like jump on and have conversation. It's like the podcast, and also connecting with anyone who's listening, and we obviously peep into what you guys say on chat every now and then. Obviously not in full focus, because then I would just not be able to paint or even have a conversation. But still just like seeing what you like, how you guys react, and just seeing you guys being here, and and if we can inspire you in a way, or say one or two things that propel you to be prolific and be productive, and or just even enjoy the time with us. That's great. That's what we're after. So
I think that's one big part of the Learn Square community that I remember when I was studying, and I remember thinking that, I never gonna talk with this guy so far away, and now with the Learn Square, all the new technology is so available. I mean, I realized in some point that it's just one email between you and this like amazing guy there, and you can go and ask, and it's
Yeah.
really there.
Yeah.
So I think that that barrier is not there anymore. That's really amazing.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, definitely something special because it's like allows us all to be so connected. Question coming in about Fusion 360. Yeah, we do have a class. So the question is, do you guys have any Fusion 360 training coming up? We do. We have one in the works. We've been developing it for the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 months now, I think, right? Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be really awesome. We have one of the leaders in our industry that we know of teaching it, and we have for his apprentice, we have this incredible person that's going to be his apprentice too. So
mind blowing.
Yeah, this is going to be really awesome. You guys are going to really love it. So, yeah, and as I've said in other streams too, like making classes, it just takes a bit of time. It takes a bit of time to get the classes going, and the effort it takes to get the classes going is quite extreme. So, yeah, I'm thinking we'll probably have that class released to market for you guys. Next 2 months max, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I mean, there's so many things entailed in releasing a class. It's just like, it's not like getting a Gumroad out, you know? Like
Yeah, exactly what I want to say. That the level that you're putting the curve that you're giving and the information is not like a gun row or something that you're gonna do in 1 week, because you're putting a lot of effort, but then the result that you get is really high level. So better to just wait a little bit and then.
Yeah. Gumroads just take time. Well, let's put it this way. Gumroads don't take much time. You just start recording in most cases. For the most part, and boom, you're done. Whereas here, we want to make sure that the content is right, that the lesson is following specific structure, that there is no dead space or dead air in between, and that is an enjoyable content on the highest quality. So
yeah,
that's what it is.
Time, so.
But
when it comes out, it'll be great, and you guys will enjoy it and learn a ton. So, let's see. Is there any place for Fusion 360 in games or real-time rendering situations? You know, I think one of the key issues that we have, and we brought this up with Curtis quite a few times, is the topology when you export is pretty nasty. So even if you use Moy, you get a lot of crazy n-gons, and just like the way that it kind of goes around the surface is kind of a pain. If you watch these streams, I had Travis Davids on about a month ago, and he showed his pipeline of how he takes his mesh from Fusion, extracts it, and brings it into ZBrush, and then does a Z-remesher. So I think the key trick here is the problem you're going to run into is just like the mesh that you get from the model that you make inside of Fusion is going to be a little janky. So you got to figure out how to make it work. So, which is tricky. But then there's ways of remeshing it via ZBrush. And then I've been using 3D Coat to do a lot of my UVing recently, which is really powerful. It's incredibly good for that. It's actually 3D Coat is actually a very powerful program from what I've experienced so far. I really enjoy it. So eventually, once I get a good hold on it, I'll probably show it with you guys, because it's actually a really powerful equivalent to ZBrush. It's just not as popular because there hasn't been a whole lot of people like catching on to it. But as soon as like a couple big people you start using it properly, it's going to be a big thing, I think. So, but yeah, to answer your questions, that's from my perspective. I don't know, maybe Mache has a different thing that he's experienced with it, but that's been for me. I
haven't tried enough of it to give you like a proper honest
video games from Fusion assets.
Yeah. Well, not always, but for now it's just still gonna be an issue, and it's just simply different way of how the mesh is created, or the objects are created. One is just mesh, which is polygons and polygons, and which are created as corners of vertices, right? From corners of vertices, and you can move polygons, you can move verts, you can move edges, and all that stuff. The other stuff is solid. There's no vertices, there's no polygons. It's just a surface. It's a surface, and there's content inside of that surface. Polygons are empty inside. Like if you build a model and you close it, it's still just surface. There's nothing inside. There's no substance. Like there's no material. Um, in solid, whether it's SolidWorks or Fusion or anything like that, it's actual content inside that matters too, especially in the way it's produced. In polygons, you just move shit around. In solid, in parasolids, you have to move things around the way that machines work and can produce this asset later. Like the way you make it, it has to be reproduced in actual the way the actual machine's gonna do it in as a physical asset. So it's a completely different workflow. It's completely different technology. So having like a transfer of data from one to another is always going to be tricky, and it's going to have compromises. At least for now, it's going to change obviously over time as it gets more and more complex, right? But I mean, there's some retopology tools. You've mentioned, Ash, that 3D Code has excellent retopology tools, and I think I've had a chance
Not
to test it.
retopology. I haven't tested the retopology. I'm talking about the UV mapping. So.
Oh, okay. Retopology tools. Retopology is more important than UVs, I would say, especially for video games, because UVs you can make UVs for everything, and just it's always going to be time consuming. Topology, unless you automate on really complex models, like let's say you take one of the Vitalis tank and you want to make topology for it, it's going to take you a lot of time to do it, especially if it's all CAD. So there are obviously, I think there are tools that are in works. There's always ways of like taking it to ZBrush and doing a Z remesher. Yeah, there's ways, but it's just like it's always going to be a workaround. I mean,
frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, retopology is, I guess, the only way for now, and
the key. I think the thing is because these programs aren't made to do video game assets yet. Like they're not. That's not what their intention was. Although we're starting to use it for those things, and we're starting to show them. Their main market, I think, is going to be for like corporations and people that are actually making like things that like buildings and like real things outside of video games and like these frivolous things that we're into. So not taking anything away really from what we do. It's just not as important, I think, to them in regards to like the I don't want to put words in their mouth, but that's pretty much what I think it is. So because they're not like, we're going to make the best like hard surface game engine thing. That's like not what they're interested in from my understanding.
Yeah,
so.
They don't give a
But I think that now it's a matter of time also that all these things gonna blend, because for example we are doing a lot of production and now we're using a lot of Substance Painter, which is mostly I'm gonna say for video games. And we're using it mostly for broadcast and VFX on the channel. So
it's a really powerful tool.
We are cross-passing the video game team. So I think now it's all blends.
Film and VFX, right? But not yet in manufacturing and like manufacturing, industrial design. All of those things are so vastly different. I mean, if you compare video games and VFX, or if you compare video games and VFX, for instance, the workflows are very similar. It's just a matter of how you optimize things and what you focus on in video games versus what you focus on VFX. In most cases, you actually are using the same tools. You would use ZBrush. You would use Substance, like you're saying, like it's crossing over even more. You would use Unreal Engine to actually do previs for films these days, and vice versa. Like you get
Marmoset and all that stuff.
Yeah, like in video games back in the day, you would hire a VFX company to do it would be like a vertical slice sort of demo, pre-recorded stuff that would show like the benchmark, and then the team would try to get it as close as possible to make it look like this VFX demo, right?
It's kind of what you experienced when you were working on The Last of Us, right? I mean, not that exactly, but like I always remember you telling me when we did our podcast together, like how the game builder was like pissed at you because you made the grass like all badass, and he was like, I can't make that grass, Jay. Like, thanks a lot, you dick. Like, because
it's always the case. Yeah, as a concept artist, you're pushing the boundaries, And oh man, like so many times I would get a conversation like, "Hey, can you draw a concept so it like looks like something we can do?"
Like, no, you gotta get better.
It's never gonna happen. And yeah, it's always going to be that, you know, to a degree, but yeah, technology is slowly converging. You know,
I'd say it's going pretty fast, actually. I think it's rapidly changing.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I'm saying slowly. It's like not gonna happen tomorrow. It's not gonna happen a year from now. But a couple of years from now, it's just gonna be different. And maybe I'm saying also slowly. It's just because there's so many developments happening all at the same time, and they don't seem to be significant just yet. But all of them combined, all of them combined within like next 2 years are actually very significant. So.
We're testing them constantly too, guys. Like, I mean, outside of the stuff we do on the streams, Maciej and I are constantly testing this stuff in our professional work. You know, like Maciej knows that right now what I'm doing too is like I'm constantly trying to test the new pipelines in the workflow so that I can get like optimal output basically. And the goal is to get the best work possible rather than like a drawing, like get the ideas out, but at the same time, like get a final looking piece, like polished with like really awesome shading and all that stuff and lighting. And that just basically what it does is it's supposed to design it so that you can have like the best experience and the fastest like trust and like approval from your client. So they go like, oh, this is great, because it's not just a line drawing. You have everything else in there, and using all these tools to do so. I think that's the key. You know, that's really the key to the trick of it all. So again, the key I think for us to remember is that these are all just tools, and tools are just tools without ideas and original thought. Then they really mean nothing. So I think it's really important to keep that in mind too. It's really difficult, right? Everybody, like to just remember, like we have so many things to keep track of when we're trying to make these kind of pieces of work. It's like everything from perspective to anatomy to lighting to shaders to it's constantly, it's almost like it reminds me of Mickey Mouse inside of the and Fantasia, when he's like all the mops are going crazy and he's like running he's like going kind of crazy because there's just so much madness going on. That's what it feels like sometimes to me, being an artist, wanting to like really push myself beyond, because I could have just stopped a long time ago, like, oh, because I used to do like paintings and stuff. I could have just stopped like just wanting to be really good at using acrylic paintings or something, but I saw the future was in digital. I knew it was to be that, because the versatility and the power that comes with it, it makes it great. And I really think personally, I think the future, and I've talked with Maciej about this too, and I'm curious to see what you guys think, is the future is going to be in game engines, because they're getting better and better. And if you can just like think about if you can make everything that you need and have it be real time and show things in real time, it's like it turns everything up even further. And I think game engines like Unreal and stuff are really proving. I mean, there's still a long ways to go, but at the same time, it's getting better and better each year.
Yeah.
And that's really where like a lot, if you're interested in concept art, I would strongly suggest that. So getting into and understanding the game engines and understanding how they work and stuff, because what if you could just send, I think Marmoset, isn't that what Marmoset does? It's like you can send like, it's like a pre-built kind of thing that you can send a file off and they can look around it and stuff. Is that kind of what it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a soft painter also. It's like a viewer with a real-time key. It's like a key shot also. I mean, there is a lot of tools that you can use now.
Yeah.
But I think that relay more than getting the basics right. You know, like for example, you draw a lot at the beginning, and Michelle also a lot of drawing, and that base, even it doesn't rely on the tool. It's relying on knowing how to light correctly, from where is coming the light, how it should look. And that base, I think, is even more important than which is the tool, because now it's so easy to make a render that looks nice, I mean, in the shader and realistic kind of way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do it right, that it means something. That's the hardest part for me. Do it the concept right. Because I can
You're really
see
great
a
at
lot
concepts, so you did such a great job in your class with me.
Spheres, a lot of spheres, or like abstract that looks amazing. I mean, I have to say they look amazing, but it's just an abstract thing that it doesn't mean anything. It's just like a head floating. It's not that I never did. I did because it's a good practice.
Yeah.
But at the end, I take it as a practice and not like a render that means something. But then when I see a concept from Masha or a concept from you, I think it's a complete package. It's like an amazing render, but with a story behind that means something. And I think that's
Yeah.
the most important
Yeah, of
part.
course. If you don't have like an idea or a good story or something to propel your concepts and stuff, I think it's like then it's just no good. And I think that's probably why things take so much time. And I think it's really important to take your time in building things. So yeah, because I see a lot of there's amazing work being created, and people there's a big difference. And I was just talking about this on a podcast I did with Wilson Tang the other day. It was really great conversation. We were talking about the difference between like a renderer or like somebody that can do like really nice renderings and somebody that has like great ideas and can sketch out those ideas. And oftentimes the people that can just draw and sketch out those ideas, they're just as powerful, if not more, because they have those ideas. But it's you need both of those things is what I'm kind of getting at. Is I think you can't just have good ideas. That doesn't really get you anywhere. You have to have ideas and then execution, in my mind. But I like to think of like, we all have the responsibility to carry our own weight, So if you're gonna go out and do something, then you should be able to do. I always remember, like, for example, like I'd ask people that worked with like James Cameron, for example. It's like, how is it working with him? Like, oh, he's really intense and he's really great because he can basically do everybody's job. And I thought that's really interesting, Like, I guess you have nothing but respect for somebody that could do your job just as good as you, and you wouldn't have a problem following them, as a leader of your production. You would be like, okay, well, this guy, I can't get anything around him. He knows how to do this better than me, or he has better ideas than me. So I'm working with him because he doesn't have the time to do what I'm doing as well. So that's a double-edged thing too, though, because it's also good to work with people that really need your help and all that kind of stuff too. So there's just different methods. So
Yeah, from what I hear, James is kind of person that you just cannot bullshit around.
Yeah.
It's just he knows so much that he will know it like right away. All right, yeah, you're not putting your effort here, or something like that. So
yeah, and I think if you want to work and if you want to get like really good really fast, you would work with somebody like that. That's that intense, that would just push you to the extreme. But it's not for everybody too. Again, it's like everybody has their own passion and their own way of working and wanting to work, and their dreams and aspirations and goals of doing whatever it is that they want to do. So I don't think that there's just different methods and ways of working, though. So I think that's the key. I think the real main thing that always lasts for me, though, is just remembering that like you need to just keep going. Like you just got to keep progressing. Like you can't stop. I think that's the real key. And I think like I'm thankful that I have like friends like Mache and stuff, and they're just constantly pushing me to try new things. And like since working with Mache closely and taking his class, for example, like it's really opened up a whole nother pocket of like possibilities for me that I've like he'll know is like I can't show this stuff because it's client work, but like a lot of stuff I'm doing now is a direct response to like just being open about trying new things and experimenting with new things and exploring new avenues of possibilities and using new techniques and tools and stuff that really
you're basically a concept artist now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, before all that, I wasn't really, I was just like doing designs and stuff. And that's not really what, for me personally, I don't like titles personally. I don't really care for that stuff. But at the same time, like I think it helps, I guess, at times just to kind of to explain who you are, I guess. But yeah, I guess I kind of I've been doing a lot of that too lately. So it's just fun. This is like being creative and stuff. So it's just another avenue of exploration. So, but I see no difference between this and other things too. So, but I think what I'm getting at is it's just really important to constantly strive to be better than what you were yesterday, and utilize like the amazing tool that we have now, which is like the internet and these Twitch streams and all these kind of things to connect with people. Think about all the people that are on the stream right now that like you could learn from and work with and share ideas with. And I mean, the questions that came through, oftentimes if I get a question through email or wherever and it's too complicated for me to answer, I'm just come here and then we can try to answer it more dynamically. And then I'm guaranteeing that if I don't know the answer, I imagine somebody's I got to know here. Somebody here knows how to do a good something, that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Pretty epic times. Really epic times. Yeah. Depending on your willingness, you'll be good. You'll have like plenty of access to awesome stuff. So,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Some questions are coming in. Let's see. Hey guys, thanks for all your hard work. It keeps me motivated and pushing further. Hey, thank you very much. We're trying our best here. I'm working on my portfolio tailored to vehicle design and wondering if any upcoming Learn Score courses where vehicle hard surface theme projects will be focused. We don't have any vehicle designs lined up. We did have one, but the guy is a lame ass. No, I'm joking. Mache knows.
But you have one course that is touching hard surface, yeah?
I hope he's watching
This is
this.
so harsh. That's so harsh.
Yeah, he bitched out. So yeah, well, because it takes a lot of work. So, but yeah, that kind of fell through. We were really hoping to have that, but we do have some hard surface
Still might happen.
theme stuff coming up. So yeah, namely the Fusion 360 stuff. So yeah. Yeah.
So
let's see.
aggressive.
What were you
dude.
saying, Leo?
No. I was just reading to see if there is something
Oh, okay.
on the question.
Hey, I'm speaking the truth.
It was very aggressive though. Like,
Keep it thug.
bitch out.
Yeah, that was
Fucking
it.
cocksucker.
Okay, so let's see. Next question: is there an appropriate person for doing the retopology or modeling or design? Has to do it yourself? That's a weird question. The way you wrote it, I'm trying to figure out what it is.
There's
that you're
obviously a title of, or
I guess
in
that
most,
is.
in most cases, like in game studios, that's the 3D artist that's gonna the artist that is doing the model. He will also do a topology. He will also do UVs. He will also set up shaders. Like it's more like a generalist work in a lot of cases, especially video games, where the artist, like let's say if you have a character artist that does characters for the game, he will do the sculpt. He will do the low poly. He will do the textures. He will do a lot of that stuff up till like maybe rigging, where then you would have character TD taking care of that. But yeah, like any kind of shaders, texturing, UVs, retopology, all that stuff it's a 3D artist's job. So
it's good to know all that information. So, and once you understand the basic principles, like the thing with the 3D, I think is it's much more intensive on the education side of understanding what the program does and how to get what you need out of the program, which is different from like designing and stuff, because that's more intuition based on like theories and ideas and stuff. So the cool thing about learning 3D is like you can go either side with that. Like you can learn how the tool works properly, and then you can get a job off of just executing tool operations. But I think there's multiple different levels to that. Obviously, I like the idea of being able to do it all. And then how do you do it all? From photography to writing to all those kind of things. So yeah.
There is someone in the hey guys about to make a plunge to freelance, and he was reading your article on motionography. It was really helpful.
Oh,
but
awesome.
he's asking an advice that how do you guys got your first freelance when you start getting serious? Like, I mean, we're always serious, dude. But
yeah.
But how was your first advice on how to get your first jobs and how to enter into the market, I guess?
Awesome. Yeah, great question. Thanks for being here, and thank you for your kind words. So in regards to the freelance thing, and I'll let Mache chime in on this because it'll help give you some perspective. But for me, the way it worked was I worked at I really wanted to work in film, so I spent 3 months. I built out my portfolio, and then I got hired by Prologue, who does amazing work, and I worked with them really intensely for about one full year, and that was really intense full year. And then from there I went out and I worked at a friend's studio for a little bit while I was in transition for about 4 months or so. And then when I left there, I to be honest, I really pissed off my wife that time because I didn't talk to her about it. I just basically quit that job because I was just tired of working for anybody. I was at my wit's end. So I kind of just drove away from there like, ah, shit. And I had to go talk to my wife about it. But I had her, as I said, trust me. And what I did is I put all my work up from that year up in on a website,
Up in
and
the
then
area.
up in the Aries, and I sent it out to Motionographer, and it got shown on like their website. And to be completely honest, it's a lot of it's due to just how intense I am. But I haven't, ever since that day that it went on Motionographer, I haven't had to look for a job. I've never been jobless, and it's been 6 years now. But a lot of it, to be completely honest, is just my drive and my focus and like my desire. A lot of it plays into that, like how bad I want it, how bad I want to work on these different things. And like a quick example, and I'll let Mache chime in, is I'll give you like a case study. Is I was working at Digital Domain. I was driving from my house at the time up to LA to go work on some stuff for UFC with Neil Huxley at the time. And when I was working there, I saw these guys drawing in this room, and I was like, oh, what are these guys doing? Because I was always interested in art. And the guys drawing in there was Sean Hayworth and Ben Proctor, who were the main, I don't know what you call them, like main art directors, or I forget their name, their roles on Ender's Game.
Production designer.
Production designer, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so,
Both
yeah, and
amazing people,
I
by the
introduced
way.
myself. Yeah, super awesome people. So I introduced myself, and then I asked them what they were doing, and then I just kind of made my job happen with them, because I was like, oh, okay, like, can I help you with this stuff? And so, I mean, I was just looking for opportunities in an honest way, not like in a scheming way. I was just like, oh, I really want to work on these things, and how can I help you? And maybe there's something here. And so, and thankfully, like the main guy that was running Digital Domain at the time, he was like, hey, you guys should really talk with Ash and have him help you guys with your UI stuff, because he's really good at this. So it was kind enough for him to help me out as well. So anyways, long story short, I was there working on another job, saw an opportunity of interest, and I went off to go and did my best for that. So I think the key is being constantly aware of opportunities and manifesting your own opportunities too. So yeah. But that's kind of how it worked for me. So in a long nutshell, that there's many stories like that, like tons of them. So yeah, you give me an inch, I'll take a mile, basically. I think that everybody else should too. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, all I can say is this.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Well, let's put it this way. So my take on it is, I mean, everything you said is correct, and maybe sort of to elaborate the way I digest the way you went through, your process. If you think, if you don't understand the intensity that Ash has, like, it's hard to understand until you actually work with him. But just to give you a perspective, when Ash said he was doing 1 year of Prologue, you were traveling from San Diego to what? It was Santa Monica. Where is Prologue? Hollywood? Where are they?
Yeah, it's a 3-hour drive on average one way to go there.
But you were taking a train every fucking day from San Diego to LA, which is like 4 hours or whatever.
It's the total
One way.
like, so get up at 6:30, go and get one of my best friends, Nate, would drop me off at the train station because he worked right next to it. So drop me off. I'd get the 8 o'clock train, get up. No, it was the 7:30 train. Get up to get on the train. The train takes 2 hours to get to the center of LA. And if you know LA, you know how horrible it is with traffic. So get there, and I had my car parked there in the garage at the train station. I didn't have a car. I had only one car, so I used that car up in the train station up in LA. And so I take that car, and then I drive out to I think it was Santa Monica, Venice. No, not Venice. Yeah, maybe it was Venice. I can't remember. I did all a big blur. And then so that takes on average like 30 to 45 minutes, and then getting to the office. So total travel time one way is on average was 3 hours, and that's if somebody doesn't walk out in the train and commit suicide while I'm on the train. That takes a lot longer, and that happened once a month too, by the way, which is really sad.
The big caveat.
Yeah, there's so many of those things, but yeah, so to compliment, and I would leave the office at 9 o'clock, get on the train, get back home get to the home at 12:30 at night, and rinse and repeat for the year.
It's a freaking huge commitment that takes a lot out of you, but the benefit is that you've learned so much, and then it created all those opportunities. There's a saying that like a luck, having like there is a luck in the things that you do, and there is obviously there is a luck in a lot of decisions that we make and a lot of opportunities that happen. Here's the thing though. Um, I don't believe in the luck per se. Like you got lucky and that's how you got a job, or maybe
No.
maybe it was a luck that you actually saw no Ben and Sean doing work for Ender's Game. Maybe that was a lucky moment, but it was lucky. But you also were in the right state of mind
Yes.
to actually see the opportunity in it. Because in most cases, if you don't have a right state of mind, you might have just walked by that office and say, "Oh, cool, they're doing cool work," and then just move on.
Yeah. Or I was like on Facebook or Instagram and like tag
Like
likes or
your
something.
nose
Distracted
in
or
the
something.
phone, or not,
Yeah. Phone nose. Phone face.
or thinking
Yeah,
about
missing
I don't know,
opportunities.
buttholes or something.
No,
I mean, there's so
yeah.
many ways to miss an opportunity, but if you get yourself in the right state of mind, and you get yourself in that state of mind by just being like trying to be as productive as you can,
Yeah, and
and
seizing the opportunity. I think there's that saying that perspective is perfection is perspective or I'm totally butchering. It's so great. Perception is perspective or perfection. Jeez,
Come
God,
on,
my head.
dude.
I could do it.
Get your
I
grip,
can do
dude.
it.
Oh, this is great.
You can do it though. You can
Perception
do
is
it.
perfection. That's it. That's exactly
Okay.
it. And I learned that from I think it was like some weightlifting guy. Because I always like find it interesting to study other people of other walks of life because it's good variety to have. Like professional weightlifters, like what do they do? How do they make it happen? And I remember him saying that, and I thought that was so perfect because it's so true. Your perception is your perfection. It really is, and how perfect. And there's no such thing as perfection, but it's something to aim for. And I think it's really cool. And using that analogy, I think is really key to constantly be aware of your reality. And one other thing I always say is like, anytime I get pissed, which I get pissed often, Miche knows. So I'm just, I'm a human. I'm flawed. Even today, I lost all like years of lost weight drawing. And I was like, fucking hell, what the hell? But I think the key here is just being aware of possibilities and opportunities, and really being like keyed into the opportunities of that are all around you, and really taking advantage of them, not in a sleazy, gross way like some people do, but like in a really positive way of just seizing the opportunity to explore different opportunities and things. So, yeah, I think that's
Yep.
really key. So, and that's what I saw. Like when I got hired from Prolog, it was like I knew I had to take it. Like I knew that was going to be the thing that was going to change my life. It's like I knew that I couldn't resist not doing that. It was going to be the start of my new life, basically. Because before then, I was just working like just a job. I was doing a job. I wasn't passionate about it. I just wasn't. It wasn't the thing that was getting me excited. And I knew that, like, dude, life is too short, man. And
Would you
like,
say that
why
was your
waste it?
defining
So,
moment? Like, if you
yeah,
would,
hell yeah.
if you could pick only one moment in your life that basically put you on the track of where you're at right now, like
Yeah.
the moment that if you missed, you would be completely different person.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, aside from like meeting my wife, of course, who's amazing, and I'm really stoked. That's a whole different thing. But like in regards to career, yeah, of course, that's the defining factor was. And I'm so blessed and thankful to Kyle and everybody at that prologue at the time for bringing me in and having me along for the ride and like dealing with me because I'm intense and I'm all over the place all the time. So yeah, definitely. That was definitely a deciding, and that's why, like with motionographer, like I've started to stop doing interviews and stuff because it takes so much time. But like they asked me to do this, and I was like, of course I will, because like I owe a big part of my career success to Justin and the team at Motionographer, because they helped. Like once they featured my work, it was it. It was like my emails blew up. It was crazy. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't have that. I was from then on, all I needed was one reply. That's all I needed from somebody, and then I was going to take it, go for it, and then everything else kind of came from there. So it's definitely like might sound like, oh, it's kind of like a fairy tale or something, but it isn't. It really isn't. It's like tons and tons of hard work, I remember John Lasseter saying in a Pixar story, he says like, there's no such thing as overnight success, because people were often saying like Pixar was an overnight success, and he was like, that's all, like, don't believe that, because like we were basically working for years to get to where we were. And people will say that, or they'll say you're lucky or something like that. They'll try to diminish your success by like
easiest thing
saying
to
it.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just because most of the time they're too chicken shit to take their own risk, and to go out and do their own thing. And I think that they're just trying to diminish it, so they're trying to feel good about themselves. But yeah, no, there's no such thing as overnight success. Anybody that's out there that's doing a great job, it's because they've been working at it hard for years and years,
Yeah.
most likely their entire life. Like people that are prolific, like Elon Musk and people like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's this podcast that you introduced me to, how I built this, and I suggest,
Thanks to Max Berman.
I suggest like everyone to listen to it, because there's like different companies that you might be aware of or maybe not, like Instacart, 5 Hour Energy, like different kind of companies from different tropes and different businesses. One common thing is like all of them worked so hard, and
Yeah.
90% of the time, 90% of the existence of the company is that grind and just fucking eating ramen and just having miserable life to get it up from the ground, And then
Yeah.
there's only 5%. It's like in the scale of a 10 year of a company. The last year is like what you see in TV, but then there's like 9 years of fucking misery, basically. That goes along, like ruined marriages and destroyed friendships and bankruptcies and all that stuff that goes along the
Life-changing
way.
stuff.
Yeah, life-changing stuff where it's like you regret of ever taking a decision to be there in the first place
Yeah.
for most of the time, and then as you're about to quit, something changes and your hard work profits in a way. And it's the same thing with being an artist. Like for a lot of time, you're just gonna be doubting yourself. Even me, Ash,
Yeah.
everyone, every time I'm doubting myself and just sort of like looking at it from a perspective like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And it's not like I'm trying to be as like a doomsday guy where like, oh shit, like I'm gonna die tomorrow.
It's a healthy amount. It's a healthy amount of
It's like
optimism.
like I have to be
skepticism.
on top of my game and really focus and really like try to do my best, because if I don't, someone else will, and I'm gonna lose the position that I'm in, that I worked so hard for,
Yeah.
And it just takes shitload of time and effort to get to a point where you don't have to worry about ever looking for a job, at least for that moment, because a few years from now you might be in a completely different position. So the moment you get to where you feel comfortable, that's the moment you should start looking into a future and see possible pitfalls and really look into what should I do in order to avoid them, But in most cases, just getting to that point. And I did a talk on that in San Bernardino in Art Institute, where it's a clear distinction between 95% of artists and 5% of artists that, like, you can be in the 95% that always looks for a job and, like, you're always going to scramble. The industry it's not going to get better in a way that it's, like, it's only going to be more competitive. And it's been
it's crazy,
changing.
oversaturated even more now than ever.
Yeah,
too,
I mean, 10
which
years
is totally
10 years
fine.
ago, it was nowhere near the size, but nowhere near competitiveness as it is now. But it's
Level of
also so
skill is
much
crazy.
easier. Yeah, so it's so much easier to get to the industry, but also the bar is like raising constantly. So you always want to be sort of like trying to reach that bar in the first place. And if it takes a lot of effort, you have to be ready for it. And you have to be, you have to be ready to pour everything you can into it, because again, there might be someone else who wanted more. And it's what Danny Lovisi was saying many times, and this is the reason why he's still sticking to LMS. There's so many places where he could just quit, never do it, but he's still doing it, and every year is just better and better and better, and eventually work out to a place that he wants to be in, But still, he created a legacy for himself. He would never do it if he would just ever doubt himself and and not work hard enough on it. I've seen Danny going through that road. He's a good friend of ours. I've seen him being in the worst places possible as well, and I have everything but I have admiration to that guy, because he's just like he's
Going
just
for it.
yeah, he's just going for it, and he's just never stopping. He knows what it takes, and you have to be like, put yourself in that place. Be ready not to ever quit. Also, you also have to be sort of like mindful of your abilities as well. Like let's put that in place too, because like if you're not 7 feet tall, like you're never gonna be Michael Jordan or something. Like it's just like
there's some really good basketball players that are short though.
Sure,
Be
like
devil's advocate.
if you're not
I think you
ripped,
can find your strength. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
find
exactly.
your
if you
place
don't have,
and then
I know.
flow from
I'm just
there.
trying to put it in the perspective
I
that
get
there's
you.
The
certain
perspective of being aware of your
exactly.
yeah.
There's certain
your
abilities,
abilities,
certain things that you were born with that will give you strengths and weaknesses. And the moment you recognize your strengths and abilities, and also your passion, that's the direction you should go towards. Like if someone tells you like you could be a quarterback tomorrow, like no. First of all, you have to be huge. Let's start with that. If you're not huge, if you're just like 4 feet, 5 feet guy, super skinny, and like don't have genes to ever be in that place, it's never gonna happen. But also what I'm trying to say is like for one person it might be super easy to get there. Maybe genetically some people are just better genetically in terms of like how fast they learn. Maybe the synapses in the brain construct quicker because the genome, and you get faster in learning and understanding 3D or understanding perspective or being a good painter. Like that is true. Genetics play a role, but there's also something called grit, where and also something called where experience, or experiencing the worst possible things in your life when it comes to like struggle and working really hard to achieve something. And that's something that if you don't have, it might not build enough grit for you to actually become something bigger and better. You might have a lot of, let's call it, I wouldn't call it talent, but tropes that allow you to be faster in learning and maybe better painter. But if you're not struggling through your life and not face any adversities, you might not have the power to power through the most difficult moments, where someone who's maybe not so, let's so-called talented, but he's a hard worker, person that works really hard, might have better outcome just because, when it comes to that moment where you're about to quit, that's the guy who doesn't quit, so.
Yeah, I'm almost always when I like work with somebody, or if I have a collaborative talent that I like to work with, usually that's the person I like to work with, is somebody that's humbled and constantly hardworking. Because I'd rather it's kind of like to the point where that in that podcast, how I built this, there's a 7-hour energy one, which I think is one of my favorites.
5 hour.
In the 5 hours, sorry, 5-hour energy, and he was talking about like how he doesn't hire experts because they only can tell you what not to do. And I thought that was really interesting because that's actually kind of a true statement too. And so what I'm getting at here is oftentimes when people are like very good at what they do, or they're like almost like on that next level of professionalism, sometimes they can be a counter to whatever you're trying to make. And sometimes you want to have those like people that aren't necessarily like experts in their field, but are really interested and are curious to like find those results and stuff too. And that's where you get interesting cross-pollination. Oftentimes I think about Tim Burton when it comes to like drawing and stuff. I think about him when I question my own ability or my style. I go, well, Tim Burton made it happen. And if you look at Tim Burton's drawings, they're very unique in style, but they're not like the most amazing drawings. Like I really I like them. I enjoy them personally. I'm a fan of his work. His early work, I mean, like his younger studio work and stuff. But like he managed to figure out his way, and I think that's a really key thing for us all here to like understand and listen to our own voice and stuff, and see that people like him do exist. You don't necessarily have to draw or paint like Craig Mullins or like Ralph McQuarrie to get a job or acquire like a lifestyle that you want. You can do it with your own desires and your own style and perspective
Correct,
and
sir.
stuff too. So yeah,
That is correct, sir.
yeah, which is
Hey guys,
cool.
someone is asking, what about personal projects and how you think they are? Someone is asking it. You think how important they are to build your portfolio around the industry and so on? I know that we chat before about that at least, but
Yeah,
maybe someone gets a new perspective about that, like
yeah. A lot of people
personal
ask me
project
about that.
beside your daily work.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask me about like for case in point is like the Project 2501 and if that allowed me to like work with Rupert and Mache and Vitalia on Ghost in a Shell. And from my perspective, I think it didn't hurt. I think it really probably helped, if anything, seal the label on it. Really, I'm not sure. I didn't ask Rupert exactly, but he mentioned he was aware of me before all that stuff. So I
Yeah.
think that
From
perhaps there
what I
was.
remember, he was aware of you before the project, and you're definitely not I don't think you were hired because of that project, honestly. I think it was
Yeah,
something else going on. I don't
The
know.
whole
but
body
Maybe
of
your
work before, for
maybe
sure.
your sexy bald face.
most likely it was my sexy bald face, but I think it also helped. So, and personal projects for me, like I mentioned it in that motionographer article. If you guys, if you're not familiar with, I just did this big kind of like lengthy thesis basically on where I'm at so far and kind of giving some perspective on freelance and stuff. But the key here I was trying to say about personal projects, and Mache will, I'll let Mache give some perspective on that as well. Obviously, is that for me, like they're so important. Like they're one of the most important things that I do in my career, because and the reason why is it allows me to strengthen all my weaknesses through an active play, and it's less serious and it's not less like complicated, and it's not, I'm not involving clients in the decision making of my growth. And so I'm basically like discovering and finding new things and new pathways and trying new tools, and like this is when I can start learning like 3D coat and UVing and all that stuff. And I'm doing it right now, like we're at the video game I'm making, and also with my next big passion project that I'm developing too. And I think it's really, really super duper important. And look at what happened with like Lost Boy, for example. Like it started with drawings, showing that with Anthony. Then Anthony really loved it, and he started making a story around with me. And then we went out and made like a short film with it. That all came from a passion project, and it was like all just kind of experiencing, trying things out and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the same. Remember, I showed you before I was doing this passion project for the Tokame last year. Remember, Ash, that I
yep,
showed you and you gave me some feedback.
yep,
And then I
yeah.
just put it out there. It was a project that I did beside my regular job, and now I get contact by the team of the Tokame. It's gonna be the official image for the next year.
There you go.
So
So there,
it's really.
yeah, yeah. You manifested that though too, and like
So it
you've
was
been
just,
really,
I
yeah,
really want to do this. I remember that I send you some stills, you give me some feedback, we discuss, I try to make everything, and then I think I put it out. Just, I did this. It was just for fun.
yep.
I really enjoy the event and the speaker and so on. And they contact me, I think, after 2 weeks, and they say, hey, we really like it. So if you can render this thing in like 4K, we're gonna use it as for the posters and the whole image of the next year. So
Oh
wow,
man, that's
okay,
great.
so just put it
Congratulations.
out and that's it. I mean, beside doing things beside, for me, it's also like super important. You should keep going and pursuing your passion on that also.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just they're difficult to do though, because priorities, with family and all the other distractions that you have in life. But I would say like if you find yourself like constantly doing things like watching YouTube videos or playing video games and stuff, like I think that there's a certain extent of like doing these pleasurable things, but you got to be mindful of how much time they consume. And I would suggest, like for me, people ask me, do you play video games and stuff? I say no, not really, because I'd rather sit and watch a tutorial on like Substance Painter or something. My priorities are just different, because I'd rather learn how to make a video game rather than play it. And that's
Right.
just kind of like where I'm coming from with that. And it's nothing against people playing games. I don't mean to mention that as like a bad thing. It's like playing games actually is really good for you to understand how games work and your interaction with them. But I felt like I spent a big part of my childhood playing video games. I have a good understanding of what I like already. So I'm good enough to go from there, I guess. So, but what about you, Miche? I know you have a lot of your own personal kind of endeavors. Namely, one of them is your Showtime stuff. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, if not for personal projects, then I would just probably quit the industry, honestly.
Yeah, there you go. That's how important it is to Mache then. So
No, it is really important. I mean, let's put this straight. Like after a while, I mean, when you're starting and you're getting excited about a project that you're working on, that's perfect. Yeah, like that's the great feeling, right? You start on this your favorite game ever. Guess what? A year later or even a month later, you're going to be tired of it. Like you're going to be like, "Fuck, I don't want to do this." Even though it's your dream project. Like you'll be begging not to work on it pretty much, but and it happens to all the projects, no matter how high profile it is. Even on Ghost in the Shell, I had moments where I just like, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I literally, I'd rather fart on my face than do this. Like for reals.
yeah,
But
yeah, I remember that.
that's the moments where where it shows whether you have the grit to finish it or not. And
Yeah.
if you're a professional or not. If not for personal projects, though, it will be so difficult because like personal projects, like you said, those are the things that you're doing for yourself mostly.
Yeah.
If you're not doing personal project for yourself, then you're doing it wrong, I would say.
Yeah.
Like you want to do it for yourself, you want to do it for your own pleasure, and not to have any expectations whatsoever. If you set expectations for something, that's when it becomes not a personal project anymore. Then it becomes a project that happens to be directed by you. That's at least how I look at it. So
Sure. Yeah.
I when I work on something and I want to work on something, like I have no expectations of the outcome. If it's gonna be a great piece that I can release, awesome. If not, then at least I've learned something.
Yeah.
And just move on. It's just like just do what excites you. And by the way, when you construct your portfolio, show what excites you, because the last thing you want to have is be that guy attached to that one specific style that you've done before and you hate doing again, and then everyone is hiring for that shit. So it's like, I
Yeah.
want to move on.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I
No,
want to
sir.
do concept art, but all my portfolio is like a marketing thing. I'm not
A
sure what is
website.
going on. Like my website is like this like selling thing, but I really want to do a concept art. So go back, do some concept art, and then change your webpage, man.
Yeah,
Because you
Exactly.
have to
exactly.
show what you have to want to be hired for.
I remember hearing a story when before I got really started in the industry too, and hearing that exact same story from, I think it might have been Nick Campbell's like podcast, the Grayscale Girl, like a long time ago. I listened to one of his podcasts and he was saying like, the important thing about like doing the work that you want to do is literally do the work that you want to do and share that work.
Exactly.
And if it takes you a lot of time and effort, then so be it. But most part, I mean, out of all the people here, I know I can only imagine that probably almost all of you are working towards a certain goal, and a lot of times I'm seeing a lot of consistent names and people coming in here, and you guys are all trying to do the same thing. You're on that verge. You're building, or maybe you are already past that verge, but you're trying to do new things, and that's why you're here working with us on this stuff. So
But I
I
think
think that yeah, it's important.
I think sometimes people it's not that you do it on purpose. It's just like a sub product. Like you don't realize the thing that you're doing wrong. Like for example, if you're a student and maybe you think, no, I have to put everything that I have out there because that's gonna lead to the project or to the job, and then it's not correct. Maybe you really need to go back and do 2 or 3 nice projects in the round that you want to get the job, and then that's the right way. Because maybe when you're a student you think that everything that you do have to be in your portfolio, and that's not the good choice. And also can happen when you're starting that you're starting putting things just because you did, and that doesn't mean anything leading to the job or the project that you want to get on the future. So maybe it's
Yeah.
rather to go back and do the thing that you really want to do, like let's say 3D or concept or illustration, whatever. But I think sometimes, not always, but sometimes people do that honest mistake that they think that everything that you do have to be out there, and it's not like that. I mean, you can pick and choose, and even for me, it's funny because I'm reworking all my portfolio, and I realized I'm using Behance, which is really really cool, and I realized that you can move your projects around, so you can sort even. So when you're gonna apply, for example, the broadcast channel, I can resort my whole portfolio to be more broadcast
That's
mean
cool. I
to
wasn't
that
even
to
aware of
that
that. That's pretty
So
cool.
this is
that's
really
cool.
nice because if you know in advance that you're going to apply, for example, for this project that you have to use more concept, then you can research your portfolio and being aware that the first thing that they're going to see is more related to the job that they are already doing, which is make your portfolio really alive for each client or for each project that you're leading. So for me,
Yeah,
that's really interesting
that's
and
just you
something that
being
you have
smart
to.
and capitalizing on the opportunity too. And you come from a like because you have a story to tell too, from what I understand. We haven't gone into it personally, but you like were you came from a different country, right? And now you're in Germany, right? So
Yeah,
was it
yeah,
where
it
where
was,
do you what country do you
yeah,
come from?
Venezuela in South
Venezuela, that's
America.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
So
see the
yeah,
far distance from Venezuela to
to
Germany.
Berlin.
to
Yeah.
Germany, yeah. Yeah, I think it was the same. It was the driving. I was study design. The only thing that you can at that time you can study in my country is design, 3 years, like a technical.
Hmm.
And then I started there working on the school that I could find because we only have two.
Yeah.
So I went to one of this one, and then it was most driving force, like studying and trying to learn books because at that time even the internet it was not a big thing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to collect magazines and even all like stash and this and that. And then a friend of mine, lucky for me, South America, my country, and Brazil, it was a big market for the broadcast. Like all the big channels like HBO, EXN, Sony, they were on my country and Brazil or Argentina. That's the big three countries that they work on South America.
Mm.
So one of my friends was doing art direction from at Sony at that time. We started together, and I say, "Hey man, really, I want to get on this motion graphic thing, or I want to get in the broadcasting."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, really have to go back and learn at least how to use After Effects."
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay," and then I went back. I take all the money that I can save. I quit my job, and then I lock in my apartment for 1 year, just
See, there you
doing
go.
whatever I can find on the internet.
It's a huge risk
Every
that you decided to
tutorial.
take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, but I knew it that at that time that's the thing that I want to do, and the only way to learn because we didn't have school for that was eating internet every day. Every tutorial that I can get my hands on, I was doing from end to end.
That's
Everything that
awesome.
I could read, everything that I can find, I was doing every day for the whole year. And at the end of the year, I went back. I present 2 or 3 really nice projects to the art director at the time was HBO, and I get
Mm.
hired.
There you go.
It was
That's
really
awesome.
amazing. And then I did 2 years in HBO, really strongly learning from the art directors and all designers there, and that changed everything. That was also like my life change moment because after that I get a contract open with HBO for like 10 years. I've been working with them. Only when I moved to Germany was when we stopped working with the Latin American branch. But it was really just putting the time, a lot of time. I take all the money. I said I can live 1 year with this. I'm gonna study this thing this whole year, and it really worked at the end
Yeah,
for
man.
me.
That's the dream. And I mean, the funny thing is, and there's so many common stories that are like, not to take anything away from you, but that's like your story is very similar from mine, but it's totally different. But it's mostly the key ingredient here, I think, is like just taking a risk on yourself. And if you don't take a risk on yourself, then nobody else will, you know? And I think that's really the key here, is just to remember, and for everybody that's listening to this, like, to be inspired by Leo's story. I think the key is like just taking that risk, because like Mache said, it's like, damn, that's a big, you basically like stopped your life, you completely put pause on all of a lot of important things, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go do this now, which is like very risky, you know? Like, not everybody would be willing to do that. There's so many people I know I've met. I mean, how many people have you met that's like, oh, what do you do? And you tell them, oh, I do art. Oh man, I used to draw. It's like, dude, why don't you draw anymore? You know? Oh,
Yeah,
I decided to
that
be like a lawyer or whatever, you know? Like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, if that's what you want to do, but they're like, oh, I really miss drawing. I'm like, well, shit, go do it, Oh,
good.
I don't
Yeah,
know, it's people always ask me like, where did you go to school? I'm like, it's Google. Yeah, I went to school at Google,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah, I
like,
think you have to be aware and you can take the right decision. Like, for example, if you're gonna, like in that case, I was thinking, okay, how much I really went back. I was doing actually really good on agencies, like on graphic design and agencies work, but
yeah,
I really want a change. So I say, okay, I'm doing great here. I can save for my living 1 year how much I need. So I put that money on the bank, a little bit extra, and I say, I know that I'm safe for 1 year, so I can risk. And that was the time for doing that risk. To doing that, that was the time. So I think when you plan it in a way, okay, you're doing a risk, you're pausing your life, or you're quitting your job that is giving you good money now, but then for me on the long term it was more meaningful. It was really mean something that then I jump on the job that I really, really want to do. So
Yep.
yeah,
you
that's
only have
awesome,
to
man.
be smart about how to. For me, have been smart about doing the right decision and the planning.
And when to do it. Yeah, I think planning is really key too. And I talk
Yeah.
about that quite a bit in the article too. If you guys are interested, it's just go to motionographer.com and it's on the left hand side. I think it's up in the top there. There's a good question for Mache that came in. Mache, do you ever reach a point where you burn out on your personal projects and take a break? If so, what do you do to refresh your mind and get through the creative block or tiredness?
All the time. Just move on to something else.
Yeah. And what would that be normally? Do you have how many projects do you often have on going at the same time?
I'm not saying something else has to be another project. Can be anything. Anything that will refresh your mind. And sometimes, just taking a break from just doing anything can be the right way to do. Like take a
Yeah.
walk, go to a park or something, spend time with family, whatever that is. Just focus on something else. I mean, exercise obviously helps too, because the overall benefits of the exercise, so that could be also a thing for you. I mean, there's so many different things that can be done. So
So a healthy distraction then.
yeah,
Okay, that's a good point
just
too.
just
You don't even do jujitsu anymore, unfortunately.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
it's
like
it's really consuming. Yeah,
it's so time consuming that I just had to pick up like what can I do? Can I stay active in a way, like go to the gym maybe every now and then, just like have some kind of exercise, go running, all that stuff that takes time, but it's not like consuming majority of the time. You know what I mean? It's just like jiu-jitsu is really time consuming. If
yeah.
you schedule
My
it,
class is an hour away too, so it's like 4 hours. I
I
gotta
know. It's just
drive
like
there back.
priorities. It's just figuring out priorities. I can get away from home for a couple of hours, or I can spend that time with my family, which is very
Yeah.
important for me. So, it's a matter of finding priorities, and then again, like scheduling them depending on where you're at with your life. Because who knows? Maybe 2 years from now, I'll be doing jiu-jitsu 4 days a week again. So who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good question though. And burnout happens a lot. So, Ash, how do you manage getting too angry or emotional about work sometimes? Oh man, I have this issue and wonder if it's just a typical aspect of passionate people working on what they love. That is a great question. This is a big problem that I've been learning from Mache, who's, I don't know, he's like stone cold. I don't know how he does it, but he like just kind of like lets things fade off of him. I don't know if you ever get mad. I've never seen him really angry yet. But for me, it's really
Trying to
difficult.
be as
I
mellow
feel
as
like
fucking possible.
yeah, it's good. I think for me, I use the passion as a device of just like that energy. But at the same time, it can really destroy you if you're not careful. So it's really hard for me. I'm not the best to give advice for that. There's this book that I was reading that I felt was really good and gave me a lot of really good, helpful information. It's called Emotional Intelligence. And so if you're having a hard time, you want to get some tools to help you, I would suggest checking that out. But again, I don't know if I'm personally the best to give advice for like how to deal with that. So maybe Leo, do you have something like you seem to be pretty damn well even out too. So I'm like the one like freaking emotional retard all the time. Like like what? Yeah.
But
Nah, I think that part is the emotional part is the part that drives you. But I think in another way, you have to be always conscious and aware that when it's not a personal project, when you're working for someone, you have to have this soft level of detachment that the thing that you are doing that is not personal, it's not against you, and it's normal that the project can change. I mean, it's meant to change. That's a normal process. So when you are aware that it's not personal, that it's not against you, that it's not like, oh, you are sucking as an artist, that is something that maybe your project right now or the thing that you are developing are not getting the result that the client or the person was expected, then when you have that background all in mind, you are more soft or more aware, and you are detached a little bit of your own work in a way. And for me, it always work in that way, that I know when I gonna show or when I gonna present to the client, I put myself back and I say, remember that everything that they say is not about you, it's about the work, and you can fix it and make it work. So
Yeah, it's
when I
like
do that, then I don't become that emotional about the feedback or about the project per se. For me,
imagine going to let's say you go to the restaurant, right? And then the waiter brings in like the dish, and then you just decide like I those tomatoes, I'm not gonna eat them, and then the waiter's just like, what the fuck, you're not eating those tomatoes, you like going all crazy. Like,
well, that happens to me every time, especially with the tomatoes, because they get so sensitive about the tomatoes. No, I know.
You have to look at it that way. It's just like it's not your product. Like, you are being hired to create something for someone, and that's it. If you want to have full control over something and get upset, passion projects. You do your own project. Exactly. If something doesn't work out, then fucking yell at it. You yell at your screen alone in your room.
I did today.
Yeah.
Because I thought I lost all my Lost Boy drawings, so I threw a tissue fit. Yeah. No, but I mean, for the most part, I tried to do my best, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to happen because you're so passionate about the work that. But that's also the part that you have to really sit back for a bit. It's like, just doing this angry email thing. Yeah, don't do it. Just go back, read it again. Like, never do things on the heat of the moment. It's really.
I have a very same attitude towards people.
Around.
It's like someone's dick hole, and all right, I guess that's your problem. I don't care. Just moving on.
Yeah, that's great.
I had a problem like that a lot, and I think I just had enough of LA traffic where I just realized it's just like, no matter how much you're gonna scream at my fucking steering wheel, those people cannot even hear me anyways, and I'm just getting upset because I'm 2 minutes later that I'm supposed to be in one place or another. It's like, is it really worth to be like completely derailed and fucked up for the rest of the day just because I got 2 minutes later in one place because some asshole is driving a Prius? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, what's the deal with the Priuses, man? I swear every Prius car is the worst driver, I find. I don't know what the deal is.
Not every, but most of them for sure. I don't know.
Every time I see a Prius, I'm like, I'm getting away from you. I know that you're not driving good, so I run away from them. So.
It's weird. I don't know.
It is weird. It's a
crazy.
weird phenomenon, though. It's a true thing, though, like, because it's like it's not just one Prius car. I don't know if it's like because it's like a really quiet car or something. I don't know.
It's when you go 0 to 60 in 10 minutes, then maybe that's the reason.
No, I mean, they're not that slow because they're electronic, so they're pretty quick. They're
pretty slow. They're pretty slow.
Yeah, I could drive a Prius pretty fast.
I think this specific car. I think it's just this specific car just became this sort of symbol of hipstery, fucking, I don't know, non-GMO, yoga pants. Fucking, I like just like add everything organic, Whole Foods, like everything you can add in terms of that whole realm, music. And just add it into that culture of people that it's like it's not just the person that goes to Whole Foods, but also does all the other things that are cliche.
Come on.
I like Whole Foods too. Don't get me wrong. It's like everything in moderation. But what I'm saying is I feel like it's just attracting specific kind of breed of people that just are that way no matter what. and it just so happens it's just this specific car, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. You never know. It's a phenomenon. It's true though. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
So.
It's very. Trust me, it's very weird. Like when you drive in LA, in most cases, it's if someone's driving back, like you see, there's like congestion and there's no, like the road is clear, but why we're standing and there's a green light? Oh, this fucker in Prius was reading his email on the phone. God damn it!
Yeah, man, it's pretty. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Well, we should probably wrap this up soon. I've been drawing the whole time too. I just.
I think it's an excellent car, by the way. It's like if you want to save money, it's an excellent car. Like it's save on fuel at least, and it's very, you know, it's a good car.
Sponsored by Toyota.
I know.
I don't care. It's a shitty car. I would never buy it.
Momo reminded me to remind everybody that to subscribe to the events on Twitch for stream notifications. You want to tell them about that, just because we get a lot of requests from people. We do these streams and people are like, oh, when are these things happening and stuff. And so if you sign up, I think it's you want to walk them through it. I don't know if exactly like the method of how they would do it, but there's something to keep the people, basically keep people informed if they're interested in seeing like when we're going to be streaming and when and all, like how and all that good stuff too.
I think if you go to the events and if you're subscribed to the channel, like not subscribed, but if you're following the channel, I believe, if you go to the events, you're gonna see upcoming event, and then you can just set a reminder for yourself. So that's the way to
so if
do
you're
it.
interested in keeping up with what we're doing,
you turn off your notification also, because I think by default they are off or something.
Anyways, the schedule is right here on the main page, and we try to keep it as updated as possible. All of the streams are always at the same time, unless there's like a special occasion where we have a guest that cannot do
course release or something,
the time, or there's a course release, like Wednesday 1 p.m. and Wednesday and Thursday 1 p.m. is when the streams are happening. So but
also on Facebook all the time you will have reminder and so on. So
we're just trying to remember because we got some requests like,
but
hey,
I get it.
When does this come up? So
you might be
people are busy.
Yeah, you might be busy with something else, and then you're like, oh shit, there was a stream, and like sometimes I mean I've noticed that when I checking the email and then I see a reminder, oh, like Joe Rogan is streaming. Oh shit, like gonna check out this guest.
Yeah, did you check out the Guy Ritchie one?
Yeah, I mean I've been watching
good.
religiously. I mean I don't agree with a lot of things, but I like watching because Joe is like a very good interviewer.
Yeah,
so
good.
it's always good to watch, and he has some really fantastic topics there too. The one with just anytime he has Eddie Bravo, it's a funny one too.
Conspiracy theories.
It's just fun to watch.
Eddie Bravo only has one level. It's yelling too. It's so funny. He gets so energetic. I've met him a bunch of times. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's great, like in Master of Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, he's insanely good. Yeah,
insanely good. So he's created 10 planets. So there you go.
Exactly. Which Joe Rogan named, by the way, which is a little funny to know.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Eddie was looking for a name, and Joe was like, you should call it 10 Planet. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. There you go.
There you have it.
It took Joe 10 years to get his black belt, actually, which is interesting. All right.
I mean, being as busy as him, I cannot imagine it taking a little less than that. So.
Yeah, definitely. Great questions today, guys. Thank you so much. Big thanks to Joe and the chat for handling all the questions for us. Really appreciate it. Definitely sign up and make sure you get those those notifications if you're missing the stream, because I know that's a constant thing. But as Maciej said, I'll be here on Wednesdays. Maciej's here on tomorrow. What are you doing tomorrow?
Cornelius is joining us again on the stream, so we're gonna have a conversation. You should join, dude.
I would. If I'm around and I have time, I'll definitely be there because I miss him. I haven't talked with him in a while. So, yeah.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for joining us today. Let's wrap it up here with some.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
Why don't you zoom in on that? You've been just like sitting there with your Kaneda drawing.
I know. You fucker. So when you look at this, it's just like.
Kaneda Arena.
Damn, son.
Kanedina.
All right, I'll end on that note, and
have her flipping it off just like Kaneda would do. or maybe like Tetsuo.
How about you go fuck yourself? That's an option too.
Put some Otomo pipes in there too for me, please.
I think I know what it's missing.
Missing a Akira logo on it, really big.
All right. I'll stop it here.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. And Mache, as always, comes to save the day. And
Hey, I've been drawing the whole time. You could have shared my screen. I've been here the whole time. So yeah.
I'm not interested.
Nope.
Yeah. Thanks, Leo, for being here and sharing with
Yeah.
us. Let's have
Good
anytime
stuff.
you want to come on, just come and join us.
All
it's
love,
good to have
all
you
love.
here. So.
Yeah,
All right,
sure.
guys.
Yeah. We'll be doing. Last thing too is Leo and I are going to be doing mentorship together for my main title design class. So if you are on main title design, we also have Tim Zarki, who's in the chat right now. But Tim Zarki and I are doing a stream next week, I believe. We're going to be showcasing his work and his work from there. But we're also Leo's going to start his mentorship with me, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So ever evolving stuff, constantly growing. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Have fun.
See
and
you.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Ouch. See you guys.
See you.